Jabari Young, senior writer and Forbes BLK editorial lead, Forbes, and Big Sean, Grammy-nominated artist, author, and entrepreneur.
Yeah, how's everybody doing today? Y'all make some noise, man. What the fuck's that? No, I'm just playing.
Hey, you doing a better job than me, man. Keep on going.
Oh, you got the headpiece on. You got the Justin Timberlake headpiece on. I ain't even peep. They gave me the handheld, but man, it's a pleasure to be sitting here with you today, and congratulations to everybody in the building right here, because that means you guys are forward thinkers and, you know, future successful people and on a leading edge of this whole world of development. So congratulations to you guys. Yeah.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yeah.
They don't have to if they don't want to, but yeah.
Oh, they have to, man. They made it here, and they came to see you as we close this thing out. Again, it's been a phenomenal Under 30 summit from myself and Forbes. We say thank you guys for coming. Thank you for supporting the brand. Definitely appreciate it, and I appreciate having you here, my brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. We were running a little late because I was trying to freestyle for Sean, thinking that he was going to sign me too, like Kanye did him, but, you know, he told me to stick to it.
It wasn't good enough, so.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough, yeah.
No, but I got so much respect for you, though, man.
And
we had a great conversation earlier.
We
so,
did, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it going, but we had to give y'all the goods. But how's everything, man? 36 years old.
Yeah.
Man, we're getting old.
Yeah. Well, you know, getting better.
Yeah.
I don't know about getting older.
You ain't got no gray hair, though, man. Let's go.
Well, the thing is, I feel more in shape and all of that. Like, I felt older when I was like 26 or 21 or, you know. But I think that's just because I've been taking care of myself a little better now.
And if you have not purchased his new album, Better Me Than You.
Yes, Better Me Than You.
Better Me Than You. Please go purchase it. A lot of dope tracks on there. It was one of the questions, actually, that we had, and we'll read them later. But as we sit here, your 6th studio album.
Yeah.
Man, it's a long, you got to say, applaud that, right? Yeah. 6 albums.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to make it in music, to even get through 2?
Yeah.
Right?
And I had a lot of collab albums, like with me and Metro, me and Jhené have 2088, and then I did like a lot of mixtapes before that. So, you know, my Detroit mixtape, like it's a lot of, it's really like 10 projects in, you know, but that is what it is, you know.
I noticed this album was really, you put yourself in the mind of a father, right? And this is more for your son. And one of the things I wanted to ask you is, when your son gets old enough, and he's 18 years old, and he goes back to listen to this, what do you want him to take from it?
Well, that was the thing. One of the videos I did come together and just show our respect to how great, because he's been a true, I mean, he's just been the light of our lives, man. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard if you don't have kids to describe that feeling. It's like, oh yeah, whatever, you know. But when you really have this kid and they come into this world, it's it kind of really redefined what love is for me, for sure, you know. Like it's deeper than I could even talk about. You know?
Does he gravitate to you or Jhené more? Which one does he go to more?
It all depends. He likes us both. He likes us both. I mean, nothing compares to mom, though. I feel like, especially with little boys, nothing compares to their mom. But me and him have an awesome time and a great relationship. So I think that's transferred for me and my dad. You know, no matter, my dad comes from Monroe, Louisiana, so it's like he comes from a place where he used to get his ass beat for being on the wrong side of the train tracks, right? My dad is in his 70s now, so, you know, this is like a hard place to come out of, make it out of. And my dad even had a stutter growing up, I heard, probably from the trauma he faced, right? And there are a lot of times where parents take their pain out on their kids. They be mad as hell, you know, all these things. When my dad managed to always be such a life of the party, good guy, and he overcame his speech impediment and all these things. And he, you know, later on in life, I found out that he's been through, like, had suicidal thoughts, wanted to take all these things that he's been through, and he never projected that on me or my brother. So I just respect him, and that's one of the things I transfer to my son is, like, no matter what I'm going through, like, I'm going to just show up and be my best to him, and I'm not transferring none of my bullshit to him, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect segue, because I was going to ask you, how has fatherhood impacted your perspective on life? You know, I was telling you earlier, like, you know, as a girl dad, my aunt always told me, my aunt Wanda, she said, you know, you're going to find out what unconditional love truly is, right? From a kid, that's yours. How has that impacted your perspective on life?
Man, it just really has taught me to love myself more, too, because I see him in myself. So it's like, you know, there's no guide, there's no blueprint on how to love yourself. And it sounds very, like, generic. Like, you got to love yourself, you know, like, the realest relationship is your relationship with yourself and God, you know, which I feel like is in all of us. God is in all of us. So to me, that has really helped me understand my relationship with my son, in the sense of that he is a reflection of me, you know what I'm saying? And a reflection of his mom. And he's literally, I feel like our kids are where the best part of us at that time in our lives personified, and then they grow, you know what I'm saying? So it's a trip. It's a trip. I see all my family members in him, like his face. Like, I see my grandma, I see my mom, I see her granddad, I see all these things, and I realize that having kids is really the real way to time travel, you know? And not to sound crazy, but there are times where I wish I could talk to my grandma and my granddad that passed away when I was younger, because my grandma was one of the first female black captains in World War II. And she was phenomenal, a phenomenal woman. She ended up becoming like one of the first female cops in Detroit. She was like a teacher, a counselor. She was like, if y'all ever seen that movie Hidden Figures, that's how my grandma was. She was like, you would be like, Grandma, on December 18th, I got to do this. Oh, that's going to be a Tuesday. It would be like in March. You know, it's like, I don't know how she did it. But, you know, I always wish that I could talk to them now. But I realize that they really are a part of my DNA. It's the same blood. And when you have a kid, you see them smile like you. You may see them wink like another family member, and you realize that it's all information that's transferred. So really, when you do want to talk to a family member or wonder what, you know, someone else would do that you're related to, all you really got to do is just really go deep within, and really, you already have the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's stay deep, right? Because in this album, you go through your time getting over it and dealing with depression. I don't know how, I'm not famous, you are, right? Has fame, like, does that really do that to you? Like, does it make you depressed, or you have to go through that phase to kind of understand, like?
I don't think it's fame. I think it's the byproducts of whatever it is you're doing, because no one gives you the game that, you know. So I'm from Detroit, Michigan, right? So when you
we got a lot of Detroit people.
Yeah, and like, you're from Philly, right? So when you come from places like that, the mentality is you gotta hustle, hustle, hustle. You gotta stay on their neck. You gotta stay hot, right? So growing up, there was no black rapper from Detroit that had ever made it, ever, period. You know, Eminem was the only worldwide success story we had when it came to rap music, and Jay Dilla as well, you know, before that, but that was like a little different, in a different realm. So when I would be in high school selling my CDs, I had my first album cover I shot at Sears, you know what I'm saying? Like, people were shitting on me. I'm gonna keep it real, you know, like, one of my English teachers said, like, yo, like, I remember when I was like, I graduated high school with 3.7 GPA, right? I was like, have scholarships and everything lined up to go to college. And I remember I was like, man, I really want to do this music thing. And she was like, oh, come on, that's not reliable. You know what I mean? She like, mess your life up doing that. Like, you know, and it would hit hard, because I dedicated my whole life to this since I was 11 years old. You know what I mean? And it was emotional, man, because it's all I ever wanted. So when you go back, right, and then you finally do make it, it's like, oh shit, I got my chance. Like, all I ever wanted was to have a song on the radio and like move my mom out the hood. That was like success to me. That was it. You know what I'm saying? So today I've sold over 185 million records and counting. So maybe a little more actually, because that was like a plaque my label sent me last year. And whatever. But I'm not saying that to be braggadocious. What I'm saying is that it's been a lot of ups and downs. And when I went through my second wave of depression.
What year was that?
2019.
2019.
And it was because I had released, so I put my first album out and it did pretty good. And then I put my second album out and it didn't do as good. People were like, it's over for him, it's over, you suck. And then I made my third album, Dark Sky Paradise, which was like my biggest album, right? And I was like really so glad I didn't listen to the label that people were trying to put on me, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, I made 2088 with me and Jhené, right? And then so 2015, Dark Sky, 2016, 2088, 2017, I decided my next album. And then it was like those 3 projects kind of burnt me out because I was on tour as well, right? Overseas. And I started taking Adderall, right? So this is where it all starts going down. I started taking Adderall, not prescribed. Because I was trying to finish my new album, I decided, and I couldn't finish it, and the label was on me. I didn't know what to do, and one of my homies was like, yo, man, you should try Adderall. All these like college kids are doing it. All this,
were you resisting at first?
Yeah, because I'm a real natural person, and I come from a family where my mom was going to natural food pass. This was way before Whole Foods, like vitamins, this, that, meditation, since I was a teenager, bro. So like, I felt like I had a hold on my life, but I completely did not. Cause I can't have the mentality of, you gotta get it, you gotta get it, you gotta stay hot, right? So I started taking this, and I didn't realize that it synthetically, creates all this dopamine in your brain, and like, it makes you not produce your own natural dopamine, right? So I am like, I finish it, my album, I'm doing it, but my body is literally like deteriorating. You know what I'm saying? I'm like looking crazy. Not to give you TMI, but like when I would use the bathroom, it was just, it smelled like a dead body in there, like completely. You could tell like this drug was ripping me apart, and I had to do it though because I felt like I needed to meet these expectations and all these pressures, and my whole family depend on it and all this stuff, right? And I found myself like in my dream house, and I had another #1 album and all these things, and I just was like so paralyzedly depressed. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't do anything. Like it was hard for me to because when I would go in the studio, and I feel like I needed that to use Adderall, I realized I had a problem that I feel like I couldn't do it without it.
Yeah.
So I stopped it. And what that did is just shut everything off in my brain, like the dopamine and this. That means no inspiration, hitting the craziest writer's block ever, and having to rediscover myself. Because at that point, I was so addicted to the music industry that I didn't even realize what I was into anymore. I didn't even have any hobbies. I'm an anime kid. I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. Like, I love, there are certain things that I love that I just got completely disconnected from, and I didn't even know who I was anymore, man. And that was the most confusing part of my whole life. So I had to really step away from everything, from music, from all the obligations I had, and I just had to rediscover who I was. And how I did that was I took some time to spiritually connect with myself and get deeper in my meditations, right? I took some time to just relax and do things, try new things. Like, let me try and go to the gun range. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I jumped out of an airplane. I went skydiving. I was like, okay, I don't need to do that again. That was cool. But I just tried all these different things and started hanging out with my friends, started kicking it with my family more. And I remember my mom came to visit me because our relationship, as much as a guardian angel as my mom has been in my life, when you're doing all that stuff, you lose touch with your family members and stuff, right? So me and my mom really needed to reconnect because that's my girl right there. And she came out in 2019 and introduced me to one of my mentors now, who's a feng shui master. But anyway, we just reconnected, and it was October, and she was like, I'm gonna stay with you until your birthday, which was from October to March, right? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, all right. I was like, all right, cool. So she stayed all these months, October, November, December, January, February, March, right? My birthday coming up, and then the pandemic hit, right?
That means mom ain't going nowhere.
So my mom was like, it's probably just going to be a month, you know what I'm saying? A month or two, I'll leave after that. A year and a half later, my mom is still living in my house with me, right? But what that was God bringing us together and put, you know, God works in mysterious ways. And we ended up having some of the greatest moments of our life. And I remember the time where I was like, Mom, I talk about this in my book I wrote as well. I was like, Mom, I think it's time for you to go now. It's been a couple of years. I bought her own house, you know? Mm-hmm. And
that's what you did with your first $1 million.
That's what I did with my first check, yeah. And she took it very personal, right? And she was like, mad.
You kicked your mom out and she took it personal?
I'm like, Mom, I'm a grown-ass man. Like, come on. Like, I love you, but we've been here for 2.5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, so anyway, she was like, okay, whatever, you know. She booked her flight because we live in Michigan, too. That's where our family house is in Michigan. She booked a flight back to Michigan. And it was during the pandemic. It was like the pandemic was kind of over, but so I'm like, Mom, if you're that mad, you don't have to go. You can stay, you know, because I'm one of them too nice guys sometimes, you know. When somebody that I love, I'm like, fuck it, I'll be hurting, and I'd rather have you happy, right?
Right.
She's like, no, you know, the flight's already booked, and you know, they even upgraded the plane, and I'm like, oh, Delta upgrades planes? She's like, oh, no, I booked a private jet. And then I get a call from my business manager. He's like, yo, your mom, you know, just to sit on the plane by herself, she had this big-ass private jet. And I remember driving her to it.
Looking at it like, I paid for this, huh?
Yeah, I definitely paid for it. So, you know, I drive
You remember how much it was?
Probably about $45,000 or something like that.
Oh, so you got that, man. Come on.
I know. No, yeah, $45,000. I know. Like, but anyway, by the way, like I don't fly private as much as I can. By the way.
Do you fly Southwest?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
I mean, I would.
Oh, you would, but you don't, though. I know you don't.
More of a Delta guy.
A Delta.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah. American Airlines. You know?
Don't give them too much credit. They're not sponsors, so just.
Yeah. But so anyway. To run up the story, I dropped my mom off at the plane, and she looked at me, and she said, I'm so proud of the man you become, you know? And that was probably like one of the most proudest moments of my life, you know? So, and we embraced and we hugged and cried for like 10 minutes. And that was like that was my conclusion to my pandemic, you know?
Was that, when you were going through that moment, was that your full circle moment where you're like, you know what, I've overcome this depression, your mom helped you?
Yeah, it was. I overcame it, and I was like drugged. I was like not on anything, and I was inspired, and I was making music, and it was everything that God gave me that I needed, you know? It was a beautiful, beautiful time in my life.
In your book, man, I was blessed enough to get an early copy of it, Go Higher, 5 Practices for Purpose, Success, and Inner Peace. On page 20, you have a sentence in there that really stood out, and I think this audience would really appreciate it, but it says, the business of trying to please everybody else is a business you'll never be successful at.
Period. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah. Why, in this era of social media, of conformity, of people looking at social media, comparing themselves, why is it important that they remember that business is a no-win business?
Well, because we get caught up in trying to please everybody and have a great image and go viral and like do as well as we can, because you can monetize off of it. You can really literally change your whole life, right? So it's understandable, but what I realize is that when you do it for yourself and when you are really honest about it, and when you're really passionate about it, that's gonna really set you apart from the rest of the crowd. You know, where you lack in talent, you make up for in discipline. It's something that Denzel Washington told my dad on the subway in New York. You know, because they used to be in a.
Denzel told your dad that?
Yeah,
man, you got some stories,
man. It's a story a long time ago. anyway, that's a whole nother interview.
Well, tell your dad I told Denzel to say what's up. Man. He got
Yeah,
to connect, man.
yeah. I actually ran into Denzel actually not too long ago and was talking to him about that. But bro, let's stay focused. So, the business of trying to please everybody. I mean, you could try it. Maybe you could be the first one to crack it. You know, I don't want to tell you anything you can't do, but from experience and from a lot of the people that I've been able to experience and been in the presence of, it never works out that way. So really just take care of you first. You know, everything else is a byproduct of that. You know, money is a byproduct of success, but success isn't because you make money. Success is because you're doing something with purpose that you love to do that's affecting the world, that's changing or inspiring or whatever it is. See, I feel like my purpose is to inspire. I don't feel like my purpose is to be a rapper. I feel like that's a byproduct of my purpose. That's the way I'm able to get my messages out, you know?
Yeah.
So when I wrote this book, Go Higher, it's a book of like achieving success in your life. And I'm by any means not the most successful person in the world, you know what I mean? Well, maybe I am because of how happy I am and the things that I've seen and the experiences I've been through. Maybe I am actually. And but I've also had a chance to kick it with my idols and these masters, not just in music. Like one of my favorite books is The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. One of the, you know, another one.
Say that again so you can write that down. Yeah. 7 Laws of Success.
The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. Asking It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Inner Engineering, like a lot of these books, right? So I've gotten a chance to also spend time with Deepak Chopra, like one-on-one, and like Sadhguru, and really pick their brains and see what works for them. And of course, like my idols, you know, from Eminem to Jay to Ye to all these people that I've gotten a chance to really have crazy one-on-one experiences with and just see their processes, you know what I mean? So to me, this book is a book of establishing a level of consciousness, but applying a lot of these secrets that a lot of these successful, and by the way, a lot of billionaires too that I know, like they're real big, you know, rebuilding Detroit, like, and all these things. I've been able to pick a lot of great minds and apply a lot of methods and put them all together in this book. So it's kind of like a book of giving away a lot of game. I remember I was talking to A$AP Rocky about the book, and he was like, "Oh, you giving away the game." I was like, "You got to give it to him because that's what it's here for. It's dispersed in a lot of different areas." So the book is just kind of like a guide to really get to a point in your life to where you can enjoy it and really live the life you deserve for real, and like really, you know, attract whatever it is you're after.
Yeah,
and give you the best shot at it at least.
Yeah. Also, one of the other things, you know, kind of to bring that particular topic to conclusion is, be on your schedule. If it's not ready, it's not ready. It's something you said, right?
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
Very important that being on your own time and on your own schedule and not rushing.
On God's time. Yeah. That's as much as you can. A lot of us have responsibilities, bills to pay, families to feed.
Student loans.
And as much as you can, be on your own time, because when things aren't working out for you, sometimes it's just not the right time, and you got to accept that. And it kind of changes how you look at the situation, because, you know, it could be life can be very gut punching. It could be very hurtful and very painful. But what I can say to that is that you're not alone, one. Two, when you look back on it, you're going to realize that it was just all of these like painful hits were like forging you into this like beautiful diamond that you really are. And three, that none of this shit really matters that much anyway. What really matters is your happiness and your peace, because we're on this earth together and we can make it happen no matter where we are. So whether you have all the money in the world, no money in the world, just enjoy your time here because it's so temporary.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
saying? It goes back to something you said when we were speaking earlier, when you go back and you talk to your former self, right? The self of old, back when you were going through that first battle of depression, right? When you got the deal from Kanye and they ghosted you for 2 years, you told me you would go back and tell yourself what again? It's going to be cool, right?
So I got ghosted. You know, I almost didn't get a record deal. And even when I signed my record deal, at the time, Kanye was like blowing up as an artist and stuff, right? So it's like, I was looking at it, it taught me to be proactive and to build my own fan base and like put out mixtapes and do all this. But during that time of discovering that, you know, I hit a wave of depression because life wasn't going my way, right? And like I feel like I deserved it and all these things. And the truth is, you deserve whatever you get, right? One, that I learned, and two is that you have the power to do anything you want to do, straight up. You just gotta figure it out. And that's the journey. That's the journey of enjoying it. And what I would have told myself is that, look, man, if I could go back and talk to my younger self when I was hitting that time and wasting all that time being depressed and feeling bad, is that, look, bro, it's gonna work out no matter what. Even if you get the record deal, it's gonna work out. If you don't get the record deal, it's gonna work out. It's always gonna work out. You just kind of have to let go of the expectations you give yourself, you know? It's great to have intentions, and it's great to give your attention to your intentions, but then you gotta let it go, because everything else could be a possible disappointment, you know? So don't be too hard on yourself. Do the best you can, and, you know, that's my best advice that I can give to anyone in the world.
Yeah. I love this exercise when I'm preparing for interviews. I always go around and ask people, hey, what would you ask Big Sean? And someone came to me today, right? And he said, you know, ask him about leaving good music. How do you walk that line of gratitude, right? But also doing what's necessary for yourself. How do you do that?
It wasn't really like doing what's necessary for myself. It just was, that was as long as the contract was, you know what I'm saying? And I had an opportunity to just grow and try and do my own, find my own footing in it. And I feel like I got, you know, I got forever bangers. I got forever classics, you know what I'm saying, with good music that he still perform, I still perform. It's like, it's always all love, but it's like at a certain point, you know, you sell all these hundreds of millions of records under somebody, right? And you get to a point where you boss up or you graduate. It's like, you know, when somebody makes more money off of you than you have, and you sold all these, it's like, it's time for you to go do your thing now. You know what I mean? So it ain't no, like, it wasn't necessarily like a hard line. It was just kind of like the natural progression, you know? But it's for sure all love, like, for sure.
Yeah. What's the biggest thing the music business taught you?
Biggest thing the music business taught me is that it's business. It's always business. Always business. Don't ever take it too personal. A lot of people turn their back on me. A lot of people fuck with me, don't fuck with me. Wait till then they're back fucking with you when you back hot. You know what I'm saying? And it's just all business, man. It's all business. That's what I learned. Yeah. And that means that you gotta treat it like it's business, and you also have to get your point across, get your vision across, get your whatever it is across. You know, people will take advantage of you and do a lot of things and try and make money off you and all this stuff, but it's like, your idea is what lives forever. That money don't live forever. Money is energetic. That's one of the lessons that I learned from that book, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And it made so much sense, because it's like, you could try and hold on to all the money you have, but money is energetic just like we are. So if we sat there and we stood still, our blood coagulates and we die. So it takes money to make money is one of the greatest sayings when it comes to keep your money moving. You got to keep it going. You got to invest it, and you got to be willing to lose it to be able to gain it. So, you know, my best advice is to always keep whatever money you have, keep it going, keep it moving. You can have a savings, you can have this, but then you got to work with another budget over time that you build up, that you plan with, that you multiplying, that you may subtract. Sometimes it adds, but that's the way, that is how every business functions. You know what I mean?
Definitely got some questions here I want to ask in a minute or two, but take me back right fast to 107, or 102.7, right? That when you built up the confidence to go chase Kanye down, rap with him and go into the lobby, right? You went for yours, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you were leaving here, headed to the $45,000 jet, right?
Yeah.
And one of these brilliant entrepreneurs came to you and they were trying to pitch you their business. What Kanye heard from you then was your flow and the way you did your metaphor, all of that. What do you want to see from somebody if they came to you with a business plan?
Well, I mean, people have, and I've done business with people, and like I've signed like my producer Key Wayne, who I signed, produced like a lot of my big songs. He produced All Me with Drake and 2 Chainz, and like produced on I Don't Fuck With You and Play No Games and all these big multi-platinum songs. And yeah, we just went to high school together, but he was younger than me, and he was like, yo, I got beats. And I've done that with a couple different producers, and now I'm starting to do it with artists as well. But the thing is, you just gotta set yourself apart and show, you know, you gotta like show me why I need to be in business with you. You know, it's a mutual thing. I think with Kanye and why I was signing good music, it's not just because Kanye, it's also the people around him saw how I could be an asset to them. And, you know, I was the highest selling artist under that label, and I sold. And, you know, I made the label profitable, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure Don C, John Monopoly, L.A. Reid, all those people saw that along with Ye, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I'm speaking for all of them, but you got to ask them. Yeah.
At age 36, what's Big Sean's superpower?
My superpower? My superpower is to... I got a couple. I got a couple superpowers. One is to express myself in any capacity. I've been able to, hopefully, I don't know if this is true to you guys, but I've been able to open my heart up and be able to express myself emotionally and be vulnerable. And to me, that's a superpower, because that's something that, you know, my dad wasn't able to do. In fact, he was like, son, you inspired me to go to therapy and really get myself together, you know what I mean? And that's one of my superpowers. Another superpower I have is to tune into someone else's life. I'm a very empathetic person. I love like being able to help in any way I can, you know? Yeah. And another one is I can watch a lot of good movies and
The Matrix,
TV shows.
Right?
Yeah, and I'm like there the whole time, like paying attention, and I think that's a superpower. Yeah.
Well, you said also one of your superpowers is, you know, inspiring people, right?
Yeah.
I would say you're OG in rap for me, right?
Damn.
It's true. OG, you know, definitely everybody's giving you your flowers. Drake, and when you look at the culture now and you see all these beefs going on and this, that, and another, and Metro was kind of asked us the other day, as an OG in the game, does it make you want to pick up the phone, maybe call Kendrick? Drake says, yo, man, let's squash this. Let's all show up at the Super Bowl and support Kendrick.
I ain't got nothing to do with that, brother. I really don't. Yeah. You know, if I did, I would speak on it, but I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Is that a good place?
Huh?
Is that a good place to be, just on the sideline, and just not paying attention to it as much?
Well, it's where I'm at, so I guess it's a good place to be. You know, you only know where you at. You know what I mean?
But you cool with both of them. You can get in there and, you know, make a call.
That's not my place, man. Not my place. Not my place.
The OG want to sit on the side. Just want to chill. It's all good.
I mean, you're talking about grown men who are successful and, you know, amazing artists. You know what I'm saying? And contribute a lot to the culture. So I can't tell them what the fuck they need to be doing, man. They do whatever they think. You know what I mean? You know. And you know, rap is rap too. It's like that's what, you know, that's part of it.
Yeah. Two questions that pops up on the screen, man. Get to the audience, and one of which is, what advice would you give to a female artist trying to break into the industry with no connections whatsoever? Meaning they don't have a connection to the radio station. They can't go chase down Kanye. What does this female do?
It depends what type of female artist you are. It depends if you're a singer. It depends if you're a rapper. It depends if are you a female artist that does both. And my advice is to just how are you gonna set yourself apart? That's you know, that's the biggest thing in any business. How are you gonna set yourself apart? How are you gonna create something that feeds the concept of supply and demand? Once you learn to stand out in anything you do, in any business, or think of a way that it's never been done. That's why when I first started rapping, I was like saying like boy and like all these ad libs and stuff, because I was trying to set myself apart. you know? I even would manipulate my voice to sound different. My voice is deeper now. I was like very high pitched. Kind of annoying sometimes when I look back on it and listen. But I appreciated it because that's a lot of artists, when I listen to their old stuff, they sound like that. But it's because, you know, I was trying to set myself apart. And I think that that's the best advice to give anyone doing anything. Yeah. Whether it's content creation, artists, rappers, singers, see how you can set yourself apart, and then it still be you though, you know?
Yeah. Another one is, what is your best tip? And you may have answered this earlier, but what is your best tip for managing mental health?
Best tip for managing mental health is to pay attention to yourself. And I am somebody who I am still learning. So I know better, and sometimes I don't do better when it comes to my mental health. What I mean by that is I haven't had time to be a human being lately. I've been busy every single day, you know? It's like performance here, doing this. Oh, Nicki Minaj wants you to come out here. Let's do that. Oh, you need to do that. Oh, you need to do this. Plus, on top of being a dad, which has been the greatest role, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for me I haven't really had time for myself. So I can say, oh, take time for yourself and do this, but I would be, you know, I'm being a hypocrite because I still overwork myself. I still do these things even though I know better. But that is the key, is finding that balance. And I'm still working on that myself. And I'm working on being a better communicator. I feel like my communication needs to be better as well. It's funny, being a rapper, you feel like you could communicate, or, you know, a lyricist and stuff, but that's a whole different, neighborhood of communicating, you know?
I'm going to run down a few names right fast, man, and please.
Oh, but one thing I do want to say, because this is Forbes' event, I do want to say, because I have a diverse portfolio myself, so what I do want to say is that you guys diversify your portfolio. So I'm invested in a company called Ember that like warms and makes, I drink green tea and matcha every day. That's like my shit, you know what I'm saying? So I'm invested in a company that I relate to, Ember, which keeps your coffee or your tea or whatever it is you drink a certain temperature. So if you want your shit ice cold all day, it'll keep it ice cold. You want it hot, you want soup, whatever it is, right? So that's one of the companies I'm invested in. Another company I invested in was like Wheels, and it's kind of like these bird scooters that, you know, fly around, but it was doing real well, and then it completely crashed out when the pandemic happened, right? And I was invested in a restaurant with Jay-Z and a lot of other people that was like a tea bar and a pizza place, and it was doing well, and then it crashed.
We got to bring that one back, though, man.
Yeah, so that crashed. And then I'm invested in my homie Ross, who is, I don't want to say his full name because I don't know if he wants to put it out there. He's a billionaire. And so I have a real estate portfolio too that has to do with trailer parks and trailer park homes, as far as owning the land and like providing certain things. And he's the one who got me into that. He's like the biggest person who does it in the world. And so I have a real estate portfolio, and then I also invested in Uber semi-early, and a lot of other investments that some have completely crashed. Some I've lost my money totally. Some I've made money. Some is like gonna take time. And I also have a lot of money into like different stocks and things of that nature as well. Crypto. I diversify my portfolio, and that is very important for you to do. So I just want to like say that.
Yeah.
And that has been good to me, and it's obviously to pass on to my son and do all these things, but it takes nothing. You know, I remember somebody was like, you know, invest in Bitcoin, and it was like $1. It's like, you know, you would be up 53,000 if you invested $1 into, or however much it is now. So just try your best to be open-minded to that, and, you know, hear people out when it's like investment opportunities come your way, because I believe that everybody in the world is going to get at least one investment opportunity that you run past, and it's up to you to take it. It may work out, it may not, but let this be your sign to take the opportunity, okay? Yeah. So, yeah.
Leave you on this, man. This is the U.S. election coming up in November, without choosing sides.
Mm-hmm.
these young people, right? What should they be listening to? What should they be seeking when it comes to these two politicians and voting and what's best for their future? Because this is the next generation.
Mm-hmm. What about it?
Yeah. What advice would you give them about how to navigate this election?
I mean, y'all know how important voting is. It's like, you know, people died for us to be able to vote, for real. People got their ass beat to death for us to be able to vote. So, you know, I understand, and whether you vote for the president, whether you're voting for neighborhood officials, state officials, mayors, like, man, you know, express yourself, be heard, and trust that our country is not a corrupt one, right, and is really hearing our voices. I really do have faith in our country, so I think it's up to us to go out and, you know, just be heard, do your thing.
Big Sean, give it up for him, y'all. Thank you, my brother.
Yeah. And go stream my new album too, yeah.
And pick up the book, Go Higher.
Yeah, the book comes out in January. Thank you guys, I appreciate you. And peace, thank you.
You gotta get some photos. They wanna take photos with you. Smile.
That concludes today's program. Thank you so much to all of our amazing speakers and moderators. Once again, we'd like to give a sincere thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our title sponsor, Jobs Ohio. Our partner sponsors, the City of Cincinnati, Hamilton County, Absolute Vodka, Codigo 1530 Tequila, Jamerson Irish Whiskey, and Rabbit Hole Spirits, and our contributing sponsor, Ohio Liquor. We're excited to announce that registration for the 2025 Forbes Under 30 Summit is now open. Register now for an early discounted rate. We will see you there in Columbus next year. For our in-person attendees, we now invite you to join us for the Under 30 Block Party, taking place at the Bank Cincinnati. Thank you.